Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I just had to comment on Steve King, who said he don't see anything wrong with white supremacists or white nationalists. And he was stripped of his duties, set down. And the reason why he was set down was simply because the backlash from this would have been too great. Meaning that this is a new day. You know how many blacks and Latinos research, read, and study in today's time, who know the truth, and they didn't want the backlash that would come from that, and so they set him down. So what we'll do today is we'll give him the backlash. Now, let's read his statement. King's statement regarding Leader McCarthy's decision. Now, this is what Steve King wrote. The truth is as follows. One of my quotes in the New York Times story has been completely mischaracterized. Here's the context I believe accurately reflects my statement. Now, he believes. So now it lets you know that, or gives you an insight into his thinking. In a 56-minute interview, we discussed the changing use of language in politics. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But he basically said that, hold on, let me get it. He basically said that they discussed the worn out label. Now, there you go, they make some mistake again, because what's worn out about the label? They're still using the term. They're still hollering white supremacists, white nationalists. Trump, the other day, said he was a nationalist. Come on. And my observation, he says, the worn out label, racist, in my observation, that other slanderous labels have been termed as Nazi, fascist, white nationalist, white supremacist, Western civilization. How did that language become offensive? Why did I sit in class teaching me about the merits of our history and our civilization just to watch Western civilization become a derogatory term and political discussing today? Clearly, I was only referencing Western civilization classes. No one ever sat in the class listening to the merits of white nationalists and white supremacists. When I used the word, it was in reference only to Western civilization and not to any previously stated evil ideology, all of which I have denounced. Now, wait. I mean, I couldn't believe his statement regarding the words that he used was worse almost than the words that he used, because it gives you an insight into his mindset or into knowledge, or what limited knowledge that he has. Example. You can't speak of Western civilization without speaking of Africa. Western civilization and Africa go hand in hand, because it was in Africa where Western civilizations got its civilized from. Many Europeans would travel to Timbuktu, which is in Africa, to learn. The Moors civilized Spain, what the Moors brought to Spain and built those luxurious castles, paved roads, they even had street lights. The kings in the West was living in a shanty town. Their castles was made of rubble. I mean, is he saying that he doesn't know history, or is he trying to push an ideology that's false? And that's the problem, because whether you know it or not, this is not some hidden secret knowledge. This knowledge of how the Egyptians taught the Greeks and the Greeks taught the Romans, how the knowledge came out of the East to the West, who civilized the West, that's widely known. So why would you come on national TV and say you don't see anything wrong with white supremacy, when white supremacy, that mindset or ideology, has destroyed all indigenous people on this planet? Go back and look at the civilizations prior to Columbus. Look at Spain prior to Columbus. How good Spain was doing before they were conquered by Isabella and Ferdinand, but kicked the Muslims and the Jews out of Spain. And now look at Spain. What happened to Spain after that? Spain hasn't been great after the Moors left. What Western civilization is he talking about? Who you think America would have been great without the slave labor of the blacks that gave you 400 years of free labor, which allowed you to recoup only profit? Example, if you had a business and you had employees working for free, that's 100% profit. Of course, over time, you'll be past a billionaire. What is he talking about? He's saying they'll do what, then it's Steve King, let them do what they're going to do, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Come on. And then the sad part about it is, where is the outrage from the Republicans? Where is the motto of the Republicans when they stated that we want to reach out to diverse communities, into the black community, into the Latino community? You know, this party is open to all minorities. Please, man, that party is just about lily white. They don't come out and recruit any indigenous people into their party. That party has the stench of good old boy white only and Republican Party. Come on. I know it. They know it. You know it. I mean, this is 2019. This is the year of putting everything on the table. This is the year of leave the bullshit behind. You know, because it's insulting, because I'm thinking that they think that black people today are the same black people who weren't allowed to read or write back in the slave era. And so they treat black people as such, as though, well, we can't find our way, or, you know, this subject's too heavy for you. Put the book down, it might hurt your brain. You don't have any clue or idea. You can't lead, let us lead. We still see you as children. You have feeble minds. I mean, it's this dynamic of running government and being heads of state is too far out of your league. They actually have that mindset. And we're trying to say, look, prior to you, I can name thousands of empires that lasted longer than What you have today, I can go back to Egypt, which was black. Again, the Moors in Spain, Mali with Mansa Musa, years and years. The Nubians of great rulers of who brought mathematics, science, medicine, architecture, cosmology, astrology, and that's who had it first and shared it with Western civilization and shared it with the West, to civilize the West, I should say. So this notion that we or black people don't have the capacity to learn higher math, to learn higher science is a myth because black folks gave the West higher math and higher science. Tell the truth. Now, I understand. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand the need for whites to uphold their race. Don't get me wrong. I understand that because every race upholds its race. So that's fine. No problem with that at all. But the problem comes from when you purposely try to uphold your race by suppressing and oppressing a people in order for you to, or for your light to shine. That's the problem. You can't pull somebody down in order to lift yourself up because there's such a thing as karmic law. There's such a thing as what you reap, you shall also sow it. There's such a thing as what goes around comes around. So people are trying to tell you, look, man, you're actually doing more damage than good with your racist views. Then to make it even worse is when you come back and you try to say, well, when you try to justify, because in your justification, if you don't have facts representing or holding up your justification, you even look more crazy. It's like, come on, man, seriously? You talking about Western civilization, but you don't speak upon the people who gave the West its civilization? You want to, it shows that you want to uphold yourself and pull someone else down. You don't see supremacist. How can you be a supremacist? Supreme over what? That's the whole question. Supreme, what you supreme over what and over who? There's no evidence to support it. Now, unless you're talking about brutality and confiscation of lands and whatnot, that's not a march towards a prosperous future. Is the fact, is what we're stating here. It's bigger than you. Now, I will admit, black people have been had by both parties, Democratic and Republican Party. Democrats would call black folks super predators. Dixiecrats, at first, they were against civil rights. They were against the freeing of the slaves. Why did the Republicans free the slaves? Why was Lincoln so? It was cheaper. It was cheaper to, matter of fact, what white people fail to realize, you slaves too. If you in debt, you're a slave. You being ran by the same person or percentile of people that's running the planet. And it's like when people see you stick your chest out, especially poor whites. I mean, you could see poor whites, trailer home whites, poor whites, stick their chest out and say, I mean, even with Obama, they'll be like, call him the N-word and uh, you this monkey this. And it's like, come on, man, you a slave too. Stop it. Stop. Come on. Well, actually, what do you have? What do you got? You slave yourself. You slave to debt. And the people that own that owns the debt, that money that you have to pay back to, they slave you. That's why you see a black and a white man working the same menial job, and that white man still in his mind, through the poison of white supremacy, can't see him as his equal. He'll say, yeah, we working the same job, and it's a hard job, and it's not even, it's a low labor job, but I'm still white. It's like, come on, man, the psychosis is over with. It's through. The game has been exposed. I guess you didn't get the memo. I guess Steve King hasn't gotten the memo yet. Now, black people, if I was you, I don't care if you was a black Republican. I don't care if you're a black Democrat, male or female. Get the hell out of both parties and become an independent. Why do I say independent? Because we are independent. Independent by nature. We had to be independent from not the time of slavery, not the time from when the first slaves were brought to America. We had to be independent from the time that the first Europeans or the Western civilizations came anywhere where indigenous people were on the planet. In America, look at Africa and South Africa. From that point on, we had to be independent. We had to fend for ourselves in a world that was changing. Our culture and our knowledge and history books and language was stripped. So we had to learn a new language. Then when we read the books, we saw the spins. We can use the Bible as an example. Once they translated the Bible and spread it widely, what color was Jesus? Now, prior to that, the Jesus that black folks knew the Jesus, the one that had skin like burnt brass and hair like lamb's wool, we understood that one. But then when the books came out, we was like, well, who is this fella? He got stringy hair, blonde hair, but where did this fella come from? That was shoved in the books. That's white supremacists. The patents, the inventions that the blacks built, we knew who was working on what. We knew George Washington Carver. We knew who put the filament in the light bulb. But when they wouldn't patent it, they were, who name is this? Where'd you do the work from? We go all the way back to even music. We hear the black voice in the back, but who is these white people on the cover? Be out of town by sundown. When we used to run here in America, meaning that there was blacks in America, there was Moors in America. We been traveled to America for Columbus, but yet he discovered America. What's going on? All of that is white supremacist. But the thing about it was is say something, expose it, or talk other than what we've taught you. Read out of this part of the book, the New Testament. Slaves, obey your master. You go into the Old Testament. Well, what's the consequence? We'll put you to death. Well, why? Because we have to uphold the image that we are superior. So I'm inviting all black people, if you are going to be part of a political party, be one that matches your nature. That's a nation of independence. To be independent, because we was forced to do. No one was coming to our rescue. You couldn't. There was a time when you couldn't even call a police, and still today, you call the police. First, it would take a while for them to even get to your neighborhood. And if they got to the neighborhood, they so frustrated, they ready to shoot anything moving. So you was forced to rely on your own. You was forced to build Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. You was forced to have your own schools and your own churches and mosques, and you was forced to do business with one another because nobody wants to do business with you. Then all of a sudden, we're going to integrate. I never understood the integration, even though Martin Luther King Day is coming up towards the end of his life. He did get bold and realize, damn, maybe I'm leading my people into a burning building. He started wising up towards the end. But when you go back and do the mathematics and the science on integration, it was a mistake because we would have had our own little Black Chinatown. We would have been rolling so much heavy into an economic status to where we wouldn't be in this position that we are today. But, like they said, hindsight was 20/20. Now, I believe, I'm sorry, out of the Democratic candidates running for president, this is going to be hard for any of you all to beat Trump. The only person I see, and I could be wrong, that can defeat Trump is Omarosa. But will Omarosa run? We hope so. But now, will the Black Christians, Democrats, will they treat Omarosa fair and welcome her into the party? And it's kind of a toss-up. It's not guaranteed. I don't see it. Will the Republicans accept, not after she got the tapes that she stated on Trump using the N-word? She would have to go independent. And is it true? I hope not, but it seems to be true that Black people are so tied to the Democratic Party. They see their hope in future within the Democratic Party. And come on, analyze this. Go back and analyze the Democratic Party up until 2019. And you tell me, how much progress has been made under the Democratic Party? Seriously, you're like the we're like the keep away ball. You know what I mean? Both sides tossing us around, and the ball don't realize it's in a game. It's being used to play the game. Don't even realize it. Just bouncing back and forth. Don't even realize that you want to set your part to the game, but yet you're being used for the game. Wake up. But like I stated, 2020, we need to not the fact. We know we need to do. We need to come and petition Omarosa to run independent, and we'll back her in All Blacks campaign for Omarosa and give her agenda. And the reason being is because she has the education. She has the strength. She's not going to back down. She can go toe-to-toe, blow for blow with Trump. And she's not afraid. And that's the biggest key. I see a lot. I mean, she's stronger than some men that's running because they watch their words so carefully because they don't want to upset people, even though they being kicked in the teeth. I'm Rosa not getting kicked in the teeth. What she say? If you walk up on me in the woods and I'm in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear. That tenacity, that strength is what we need, running. Now, we know the black man that has the strength. That's Brother Farrakhan. But he's not running for president. I doubt it. I don't think he's going to run for president of the United States. But Omarosa, run. You will have the support. Don't be afraid. And run as independent. Let them have the Democrats and the Republicans. Run as an independent. We all build and keep rolling. Verbal Pick Radio, we're out.